What are the best forms of exercise for menopause and women over 40? And what are the worst forms of exercise? I'm going to tell you in this video, and some people aren't going to like it, but I'm going to tell the truth. My name's Melissa Neal, and this channel is all about helping you if you're a woman over 40 or like me, over 50 and going through menopause. Just because we're going through the menopause, it doesn't prevent us from getting in shape. And when I'm talking about menopause, I'm talking about perimenopause, I'm talking about menopause, and I'm talking about postmenopause. So I'm going to talk about the worst forms of exercise. And of course, no exercise is bad, but there's some forms of exercise that are going to be better for us at this stage in life. The first thing I'm going to talk about, and I talk about this a lot and I get a lot of hate, and I know some of you are going to comment and you're not going to like me for this, but we can do too much cardio. So if you're that cardio bunny and you're doing an hour or more of cardio and you're doing this 3 or 4 times a week, it's not going to help in terms of fat loss. And you may have found this, and I actually found this myself with my own body. When I was doing too much cardio, so I was kind of doing over an hour a day of running, I was training for half marathons. Actually, what was happening is I was gaining weight. It's what happens when we do too much cardio and we're around menopause, is that it actually breaks down muscle, and we're already losing muscle at a rate of just under 1% per year. So we can't afford to lose any more muscle. Why is that? Because muscle builds metabolism. Muscle burns fat just when we're sitting around, and I'm going to come on to that later. The overuse of cardio can cause more harm than good. Now, I'm not talking about whether you like it or whether it's good for your heart. I'm talking about whether it works for fat loss. When we're talking about fat loss, it actually is better to keep your cardio down to 30 minutes or less. Now, a lot of people get confused when they watch my shorts and my shorter content, and they think that it means I don't like cardio at all. And I do actually like cardio, and I'm going to talk about what cardio is best for around menopause when I talk about what to do. And the other kind of exercise, and really this is to do with how much rest time you put in, is doing too much exercise during this time in life. We need plenty of rest. I'm currently getting around 2 days rest, maybe more per week. So it's going to be really important that you have at least 1 day's rest per week. And when I mean rest, you can still do walking and other gentle activity. But in terms of strenuous activity, really important that around the menopause we rest, because what's happening is our hormones are changing and our bodies need time to replenish, time to recuperate, and that's actually going to be better for weight loss if we can make sure that we're getting a good amount of rest in. So I'm going to talk about what works now. The number one thing that really works for fat loss before, during and after menopause is strength training. And it doesn't matter whether you've got £100 to lose or £10 to lose. This is the case for everyone. I get some messages where people say, well, shouldn't I take the fat off first and then do the strength training? No, you need to do the strength training to get the fat off, because strength training is going to turn your body into a fat burning machine. It's going to build your metabolism, and it means that you're going to burn fat just when you're sat around, because it's going to increase your basal metabolic rate. So what do I mean by strength training? Well, it's lifting weights, and it's doing that 3 or 4 times a week for 30 to 60 minutes. If you go much over an hour and 15 minutes, it's going to start creeping into overtraining, and you're going to get less benefit from that. So try and stick to kind of an hour and 15 minutes maximum. And the type of strength training we need to do at this age are compound movements, and they're movements that use multiple muscle groups. They're things like your squats, any kind of hinging movement is good. So they're things like deadlifts and Romanian deadlifts. Then you've got your push movements like overhead presses, or they could be chest presses, or they could be push-ups. Then you've got your pull movements. So they're things like lateral pull downs or rows. Or you can even do upright rows. And for those that can manage it, some type of lunging movement. If you struggle with your knees, it's always better to do reverse lunges. And I have a whole video on lunges for people with bad knees that I will link up here so you can learn how to do them and also learn what the alternatives are. And for full strength training programs, you can download my iPhone and Android app, and there's a free 7-day program, and I will link that here and in the description so you can download that and you can start working out with me and understanding how you should be doing strength training. The next thing I'm going to talk about is high intensity interval training. High intensity interval training often gets a bit misunderstood because I get lots of comments and messages saying I can't do high intensity interval training. It doesn't have to be high impact. It's about the intensity of the training. You don't need to jump around to do high intensity interval training. You can do it on any piece of equipment. So if you want something that's low impact, a great piece of equipment is a stationary bike or a rowing machine. Or you can do low impact, high intensity interval training workouts. And I've got some of those workouts on this channel so you can follow along with me. And the other misunderstanding about high intensity interval training is some people believe that it's bad for women around menopause. And that's actually not true at all. The North American Menopause Society carried out some research on menopausal women, and they found HIIT not only to be completely safe, but much better for fat burning than steady state cardio. And I will link it in the description. How should you be doing HIIT? Well, you don't need to do it for a long time. 15 to 30 minutes is optimum, 2 to 4 times a week, and you can fit it in after your strength training session. And what you need to be doing is 20 to 60 seconds of very intense activity. It could be sprint training, it could be bike sprinting, it could even be something like kettlebell swings, and then you do 20 seconds to up to 2 minutes of rest or walking pace. And that's it. It's really easy to fit in. It is going to be really helpful for your heart health, your overall fitness, and therefore your health. It's absolutely fantastic for women at this stage in life. And the third thing is move more. So that doesn't mean strenuous exercise. What I'm talking about is getting your steps in. So if you can get in around 7,000 steps plus per day, that's just going to mean you're moving more. And that's a great form of exercise because that's kind of stuff like walking or housework or gardening, and doing stuff like parking further away when you're going shopping. So parking further away from the supermarket or the mall, getting off at a train stop that's further away from your house than the stop that you normally get on, that kind of thing. So just build it into your daily life. It's not about going as fast as possible, like doing power walking. It's just getting your steps in so that you're moving more. I'm going to talk about your energy levels now, because when you're going through menopause, your energy levels can take a real dive, can't they? And so what we've got to do at this age, when we're thinking about exercise, is we've actually got to listen to our bodies more. And that's been something that I've been working on and was quite poor at. I've learnt to listen to my body, because sometimes, particularly if you're like me, you're going through menopause, you can get those days where you have a real off day. Maybe you've had a really bad night's sleep, or you're just feeling really drained and tired. And I think it's really important to recognise that and take a rest day if you need to and work out another day. Don't push through it, because your body's telling you that for a reason. Your body's tired for a reason, and maybe it's time to rest, and that's going to be what's actually better for hormone balancing and therefore fat loss. So sometimes at this age, less is actually more. Now, it's really important to say at this point, we do need a really good nutrition plan in place. I'm going to link here a video I made all about nutrition and menopause. It's really going to help you. So do watch that, and do let me know in the comments section whether you found this video helpful.